goes to the left nuclei and then to the left hemisphere. Is it clear? So they are crossing on that line. Accusation, crossing. Clear? So next part of the poems, right? Cerebellum is a structure which located under the telencephalon. It's located under the telencephalon. That is the telencephalon. Telencephalon. It's located in the cerebellar fossa of occipital bone and divides from the telencephalon by the septum of dura mater, which called tectum or tapetum. That is the septum which divides cerebellum from the telencephalon. Cerebellum located posteriorly. That's why some also call it dorsal brain. It's located above pons and medulla. Between cerebellum and that two structure, locate cavity, which called fourth ventricle. The floor of fourth ventricle is dorsal side of medulla and pons. Cerebellum consists from the vermis, which connect two hemispheres, right and left one, and the third part, it's small part of cerebellum, which called flocculus, which connect with medial cerebellar peduncle. If you will see on the cerebellum, you will see that anteriorly we had anterior cerebellar notch and also posterior cerebellar notch. Anterior cerebellar notch hold the brainstem or midbrain of the or midbrain. Here you can see peduncle of the brain. All surface of the vermis had a lot of fissures, which continued without stopping on the hemisphere. The smallest fissures divide lamel, that is a small lamel. More deeper fissures divides lamin, also lamin called folia of cerebellum, and the deepest one will divide lobule. So in the cerebellum we had lamel is the smallest, we had lamin is the same like folia. Folia, it means leaf like tree leaf. Folia, and also lobule. Depends of the deepness of the grooves which divide the surface of cerebellum. If you will see the section of cerebellum sagittal, you will see that it seems like the tree with leaf. That's why it's called white matter, which forms this tree, called arbor vitae, vital tree. So you should know that in each hemisphere has superior and inferior surfaces. Surface of cerebellum, superior and inferior, divides by the horizontal fissure, You can see that horizontal fissure surround all surface of cerebellum and divide superior and inferior surface. On superior part of the cerebellum, we had two lobes, quadriangular lobe and superior semilunar lobe. On inferior surface, actually it's more visible from lateral view, but on that atlases I didn't find that view. On the lateral view is very clear that we had quadrangular lobe, semilunar lobe. Then we had fissure, horizontal fissure. Then we had inferior semilunar lobe, gracile lobe, and biventer lobe. And then we had just tonsil, cerebellar tonsil. So it's tonsil plus flocculus. That is the lobes of cerebellum. Here visible just superior and superior quadrangular and superior semilunar. Then I see biventer and gracile, and I can see the inferior semilunar. Tonsil of cerebellum is visible. You see, due to the function of cerebellum, and here it's colored, scientists divide cerebellum on three lobes: anterior, posterior, and flocculonodular lobe. Anterior lobe is red one, and blue one is the smallest lobe. It's the oldest part of the cerebellum. It's flocculonodular part. Nodulus is part of the vernis, which connect through peduncle with flocculus. And the biggest part is more new part, neopallidum, it's also called, includes posterior lobe. But it's functional division: anterior, posterior, and flocculonodular lobe. If you will see on the cerebellum, you will see that in vice versa from the other parts, pons and medulla and spinal cord, the cerebellum covers the gray matter is outer. So outside is cortex of cerebellum or gray matter, and white matter, same like in the brain, locate inside of cerebellum. Also in the white matter of cerebellum, we had the group of nuclei which relate for the muscle control and tone of the body muscles, for vestibular reaction and or equilibrium system, and for also coordination of movement. Group of nuclei is the medial position is fastigial nuclei. Then usually it's paired nuclei, it's round shaped, the Glabosi nuclei. Then we had emboliform nuclei, and last one is denticulate nuclei, dentatus nuclei. By the way, nuclei of olive connect with denticulate nuclei is olivocerebellar tract. So the gray matter and nuclei of cerebellum now you knew, but I didn't say nothing about peduncle of cerebellum. The cerebellum has bundle of white matter. Actually, it's one bundle of white matter, which divides on the group of peduncle. Superior, medial, and inferior one. Actually, if you want to see that peduncle, you should have a look on the cerebellum dorsally. Dorsally, you can find all of them. Superior cerebellar peduncle connect cerebellum and midbrain. Then we had groove, which continued to the medial cerebellar peduncle. Medial cerebellar peduncle is the biggest one, and they connect cerebellum with pons. And inferior one are shortest, and here shorter peduncle. They connect cerebellum with medulla. Cerebellum, that's it.